Strong Mom Channel moms. Today we are debunking and myth busting and hopefully finally putting a rest to some of the mainstream diastasis recti claims that you find on the Googleverse or social media. And that I'm doing that today with an expert in all things pelvic floor physiotherapy and diastasis recti, Manira Houdani. So I want to introduce Manira so you get a sense of her background and her expertise in this area of women's health. Manira Houdani obtained her Master's in Science in Physical Rehabilitation from the University of Toronto in 2009. In her nearly 10 years of experience as a clinician, she's devoted the bulk of her career to women's health. Manira was the director of the Pelvic Health Program at Bosner Center for Health in Toronto, where most of her caseload was dedicated to helping women with diastasis recti abdominis. And today you're going to hear us talk about diastasis, or DRA, or DR for short. In addition to presenting novel concepts on DRA in physiotherapy conferences, she's presented to local obstetricians, gynecologists, as well as family physicians regarding the necessity of pelvic floor and core assessments in the postnatal population. She also teaches courses on diastasis recti abdominis to rehab and fitness professionals and provides mentorship to others seeking to further their knowledge and skills on diastasis. She's passionately committed to spreading DRA awareness to both professionals and patients by providing information that is up-to-date, evidence-based, and reliable. So Manira, I just want to start by telling you that you've been really instrumental in my career, from my humble beginnings of teaching indoor fitness classes. You've been doing a wonderful job in distilling and teaching us trainers about diastasis, about what the research actually says, right? Like, reading research is tough. So you are distilling it all down for us, telling us what it means, and here's how to apply it. So I want to tell you how much I appreciate you, because that just helps me to help my clients, right? And that is our one huge common goal at the end of the day, in helping our clients to minimize their diastasis.
Oh my God, thank you so much for saying that. It is so true. Like, research can be difficult to read through and to make sense of. And a good thing is I love it. So I'll continue doing that, and I will try to keep it as simple as possible to make it as accessible as possible to all the trainers and physios, so that, yeah, more women who have diastasis can be led down a path that doesn't involve so much fear
Mm-hmm.
with regards to what they should be doing or what they shouldn't be doing. And so that's really ultimately my mission, is to reduce that fear and hopefully eliminate it, because there is no reason for it to be such a heightened, I guess, emotional journey,
Mm-hmm.
when someone has diastasis. Yes, there are emotional pieces there, but I think some of the things that we used to say, and the way we used to word it and understand it, added to it. And so that's kind of where I want to go in, and I'm just trying to help people understand what it is, what it isn't, so we don't have to add to that intense emotion, anxiety, worry, and fear around it.
Right. Exactly. So, shall we do some myth busting?
Okay, sure, let's
And
get
putting to
started.
rest some of those old things on social media and YouTube and the such. So, one thing that many moms come to me when they're, looking for help with their diastasis is, they just kind of have this blanket statement: my core is weak, or I got back pain and I can't do this because my core is weak, or I got the doming, right? And kind of at the end of the day, well, certainly they've read that for somewhere. I must have a weak core because I have diastasis. But I know that, Manira, you talk about diastasis doesn't mean our core is weak. So if that's true, what does diastasis, what's really going on with our postpartum cores if it's not weakness?
Okay. Yeah, so that's a big question, because even in the research, we are still trying to uncover what does it mean to have diastasis. We do not see very clear associations with, or correlations with, things like pelvic girdle pain, with low back pain, with incontinence and other pelvic floor conditions. So we can't really say, even at this point, that diastasis means that you also have these other
Mm,
things, or that you're more prone to getting these other things, or
right.
that there's that kind of association. The other thing, like you mentioned, is this idea that I have diastasis, therefore my core is weak. Therefore, I am susceptible to injury. I'm vulnerable. Therefore, my core is dysfunctional. Therefore, I'm going to look like this for the rest of my life. And
Mhm.
so we can go down this path of what we are sort of attaching as a story to what diastasis is. And so what's actually happening is we're starting to shift away from just seeing diastasis as an issue of just the linea alba. We're starting to appreciate that in pregnancy the whole abdomen was stretched, not just that midline connective tissue strip. And we understand that because we're growing a baby and there's going to be a lot of space that is needed for that. So the abdominal wall is going to stretch.
Right.
So what we are left with afterwards is usually muscles and tissues that are in a state of lingering laxity, and in some cases, and in many cases, a state of muscle weakness. And that weakness in and of itself is something that we can address through exercises with personal trainers, physiotherapists working together. It's something that we can actually work on and build upon.
Hmm.
But what that also means is that if you are experiencing weakness, and if you have a widened linea alba, it doesn't necessarily mean that the widened linea alba is causing the weakness.
Right.
Generally speaking, we have the weakness because the tissues of the abdomen were stretched out. And
Right.
so that weakness is associated to those kinds of structural changes that just happen to stick around for some afterwards, but
Right.
not necessarily because there's a wider linea alba. So just kind of separating it out like that. And then what's also really, I guess, empowering to know is that when there is a weakened muscle and weakened tissues, we can actually do stuff for that. We can actually build strength back in those
Mhm.
tissues and in those muscles, and we can improve those things. And
Exactly.
so if you are feeling weak right now, it can be a temporary place. It doesn't mean you're going to be like that forever, and there's lots that we can do to improve that,
Right.
I
And I think
think.
a lot goes along with, the weakness and the mental thing, but it's also how much sleep am I getting and am I eating well and how stressed am I with this new baby? How many weeks or months postpartum am I with this baby? So all of those things also go, a big distance in playing a role there for sure with weakness or yeah, weakness and pain.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And like that sense of weakness can in a way almost be subjective,
Hmm.
because one day you might feel weak. And then the next day you might actually feel like you're on top of your game and you actually might sense that you're a bit stronger that day and you don't know what it is, but you're just having a good day. And it
Right.
could be, you know what, maybe you had a better sleep that night, or maybe you were more restful, maybe you weren't so fatigued from all of the things that you were doing during the day, or maybe it was just like the fact that you had some more nourishing foods going into your body. And so all of that plays a role in the sense of weakness, but also the physical rebuilding of tissues and muscles. It can all impact it in either a positive way or not so positive way if some things are sort of depleted, if you're in a depleted state. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, which leads me to just closing here. Can you tell us the free offer that you have for moms? And I believe it has something to do with these top things that you might be doing if you're not progressing in your diastasis.
Yes, exactly. So it's the top 10 reasons why your diastasis may not be getting better and what to do about it.
Right.
And so it's a free guide, where I go through some of the common roadblocks that people experience and some of the reasons why they hit a plateau. And what I can say is, for most of the people that I'm seeing, it's generally that they're not doing enough.
Hmm.
And there's a whole reason behind that. Of course, there's a lot of fear. They're not doing enough because they may be told not to do things, and so they're holding themselves back, or they just don't know how. They may not be exercisers, so
Right.
there's like they're not familiar with exercising.
Hmm.
But it seems like we're not doing enough, and so if we start adding more load, more exercising, more challenging exercises, then we can potentially start seeing those changes start to take place after that. So if you're
Right.
not seeing a lot of change, let's look at your exercise program. It's one piece of the whole puzzle,
Mhm.
but it is an important piece of that conservative management. So let's see if you're actually progressing yourself or if you're just doing heel slides and bridges and clamshells.
Right. Okay. And I'll put the link down in the description box so everybody can click and get that for free.
Perfect.
Can you tell us where to find you? I'm going to have your Instagram here, but tell us what courses you have to offer fitness professionals like myself, as well as moms.
Oh, okay, amazing. Yeah, so I definitely work with moms with diastasis, and I definitely do help professionals understand the condition and try to help them through it as well. So if you are a fitness or a rehab professional, I do have a full course on diastasis that pretty much gives you kind of the A to Z about the condition. And a lot of the uncertainty around exercise and what you can do and what you shouldn't do, and there's a lot of that even within the professionals
Mhm.
themselves. So what my course does is it kind of debunks it all and gives you a lot of the research behind it and just explains it in a very simplistic way and gives you an example of how to do exercises with your clients, like a progression. So that way you kind of have it laid out for you and you can take it from there, and you won't have as much fear and bring that to the table. You'll
Right.
bring more empowerment. And then if you are a mom that has diastasis and you're just kind of looking for ways to progress your core, that's what I created the program for moms. It's for that specific reason. Is I just didn't think people were going far enough. So I created a program that teaches them how to progress their exercises if they're kind of in that stuck doing the gentle contractions and coordinating and working on just posture, and there's more to it. So if
Right.
you're looking what else can I do, that's what the program is for.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'll put that in the links down below. And Manira, can you share us your website so we know where to find you?
Sure, it's www.munirahudanipT.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much for helping us to distill that research and getting what is really going on and what we need to be continuing to do. So, thank you so much for all you do for us, fitness professionals, as well as moms out there.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Bye.